في أكبر الكتب. It's a madhouse! A madhouse!
Wow, things are really starting to get crazy. Everything heating up with the INS, the Immigration Service going into LA, the riots that are starting there. And I'm here to tell you, I am a child of an immigrant, and I've been living on this planet for over 50 years. And you got to figure, how are these people justified in coming here illegally? And then when it's time to go, it's time to go. And they're creating this controversy. I mean, is it because these people are being tricked into being sent back home? I mean, what makes them think that they have a right to stay in this country if they came here illegally? Even though my parents came here, at a time when work was plentiful, you could get a job anywhere, you could self-sustain. In my opinion, things aren't like that anymore. It's a lot harder. I mean, how many people can we take into this country that are going to work at a McDonald's, a Wendy's, or going to be a ditch digger? We need people who, like I said, are the best of the best. You're a lawyer, a doctor, a professional of some sort, not some guy who didn't even go to school in his own country or was in jail in his own country and said, "Hey, I'm going to the United States and commit crimes," or even if he wasn't a criminal, he came here to make a living. And you know, I've been called a fascist for feeling and thinking this way. Like I have no right to say, well, the illegal immigrants should be here because I'm a son of an immigrant. Yes, this country was born and raised on immigration, sure, but it's just like a, full capacity. We got enough people who don't have any skills in this country. We don't want to keep adding those kind of people. We want to change the framework. We want more higher crust people. And the thing is that there are avenues to getting legal citizenship in our country, and those people are not following it. If anything, they're entitled. Even when they were coming, when the hordes and the bands of people were coming through Mexico to cross over in the border illegally, as I may add, they were complaining about the Mexicans just giving them tortillas and beans, and that they should be getting treated better. I mean, I really don't get that. I don't understand how people feel. They're coming from a crappy country, and along the way, they feel like they should be getting treated a lot better in some way or form. I'll tell you something right now. You come here, and then under that other administration, they were giving you money, setting you up, which was a mistake from the get-go. That last administration created these problems. Now President Trump has left here to clean up that problem. In the past, we always had this problem, but it's never been on this full scale where he said, screw it, man. We're going to clear out all the illegals. We're going to go after them, and we're going to get them out of this country. And those people, they got a lot of nerve. They're not going to go peacefully because they feel like their family members are being kidnapped and not given due process. Let me tell you something about. I don't agree with due process in the aspect of the fact that due process. I deserve my due process in my country, but if I go somewhere just off the cuff, another country, I got to follow their rules. I got to respect their wishes. Yeah, thank God I was born and raised in this country, and that's something I don't want to ever give up. And the thing is, right now, the way I look at it, things are starting to spiral out of control. And the thing is that we don't need to get martial law. We don't need things to get crazy all over the country. And it's a black eye to our country because the rest of the world is seeing this. When you got reporters getting shot with rubber bullets, I know one of them looked like they got shot on purpose, and the guy who shot her probably thought it was funny, and it was kind of funny. Let's be honest. It's a rubber bullet. You just hit her right in the ass or the ankle, and boom. They got the point. This is real. This is real stuff. Cops getting bombarded with rocks and the governor or the mayor themselves said they don't have enough resources to prevent the people. And on the outside looking in, I'm saying, we are the people. We the people. You know, the thing is this, is that those are the revolutions that, like they said, the government better be afraid of the American public. And that part of the American public is definitely standing up for itself. And that's how revolutions start, to be honest with you. You get these people, like, for instance, America was based on the fact that we didn't want to get taxed from the English unlawfully or over exuberantly like they were. And a bunch of landowners, a bunch of white guys said, you know what, that's bull. We got to say something. We got to do something. Let's take this land and make it ours instead of being beholden to England. So then American independence was born. And yeah, we won. America won by the skin of the chinny chin chin, or the hair of the chin. I said that totally wrong. But the reality is that you're not going to overturn our government. It's going to be suppressed. It's going to be taken. I'm not nowhere near am I afraid of an insurrection. I wasn't afraid January 6th, and I definitely am not afraid now. You know, we live in I hate to say it, we're really that close to living in a police state. And all they're going to say is like, look, everybody can't, if you're outside, you're going to jail. And they'll do that. They don't care. They will maintain order. And then the thing is that California is in the hot spot because they're so close to Mexico. I don't see it happening in Texas. You don't hear about it yet in Texas. But yeah, this is a possible problem here. I mean, I'm just seeing a lot of TikToks. I'm seeing a lot of people talking about when the shit hits the fan, and they make it sound like this is the catalyst that's going to change everything. And then, nonstop attacks on Trump. Then you got the Elon Musk commentary about Trump. And the thing is this, if that man's guilty of that kind of stuff, then yeah, prosecute him. I don't care if he's the president or not. But the reality is that powerful leaders protect themselves. I mean, look at the president of Mexico. She supposedly protects the cartels. She makes sure, because she's in cahoots with them. Nobody's taking her out of power because we live in a kind of world, an evil world, or a society that actually plays along those lines, and it bends the knee to power or money. Just like the drug trade that still goes on, and subsidized by countries as far as letting, some of these Afghans grow poppy seeds. I mean, it's just been a whole history of things, a whole history of inconsistencies. And the thing is to stand on the sideline and see these inconsistencies and only have an opinion. And to be honest with you, this is a tough one. This is a real tough one. Because I look at America, and America needs to be firm. And this is a time that's going to be firm. I don't think we owe anybody anything, to be honest with you. If America chooses to be an isolationist country, so be it. It's their deal. You see what they're doing? They kind of cut away from China. They push China back, and they're solidifying. They're trying to get the Guadalcanal back. They're trying to pull all the resources back into our country. And immigrants are not a resource that America wants to invest in, because, what are you investing in? Someone to work at McDonald's? Someone to dig a ditch? There's a potential problem that's going to evolve into this country and into this world. Is the rise of robots, AI. It sounds like science fiction. It sounds like total masterpiece, 3,000 theaters crap. But think about it. When you have robots that are going to be able to take jobs and do menial labor, well, what do we need untrained immigrants for? You're going to have robots picking cabbage, picking lettuce, picking fruit off trees. We don't need those people to fill those slots. repetitive, brain drain jobs, that's all going to disappear. I'm telling you right now, you better buckle up because things are going to get really tight around here. People are going to be put in a situation where they might not have enough resources. I mean, it's happening. It's happening in front of your eyes. You're not even going to need delivery drivers. You're going to have automated taxis come up to your house. There's your stuff. Go get it. Instacart, like I said, you got a guy who takes it, drops it off, and goes. So think about it when you got a automated vehicle that's just going to run these deliveries, or a person needs a ride, comes, picks that person up, takes them to where they got to go. Things are changing real fast. And the thing is that those people are caught in the crosshairs. They want to stay here. They want to establish themselves. Because I think in the long term, the government's going to move towards giving people a stipend, like an amount of money to live off of, where they don't even have to work. They just live in our country. And those people, I don't think it's too far-fetched to say that those people are trying to align themselves in that circumstance, in that situation, because our country's going to get so automated that they're going to have a fail-safe. They're going to have somewhere where a country's actually going to provide for them. I mean, think about it. If you're in a poor third world country and they start implementing things like that, I mean, you're already poor to begin with. Now you got automation coming in your country, gonna make you even more poor. So yeah, everybody thinks like robots are cool, and they are cool. They really are cool. But you got to look at it full stack, full feature, man. Right now, if I had a robot, I'd say go cut my grass, go wash my dishes, mop the floors. That robot, I'd be using the crap out of that robot. I'd be living in a the house would be polished, it'd be painted. It's going to be kind of cool if they can get to that level, okay? But when you got to look at the bright side, you got to look at the dark side. And the dark side is if you're too poor to afford a robot, you're going to have to do all that crap by yourself. And if you have a problem with employment because a robot is doing your job and you don't have a job and you're on a government stipend, you're screwed. You're in a bad position. You're going to be in a bad position. Now, the things I'm saying might not come to fruition for another 5 to 10 years, okay? But let it be known that it's been said, and if I could look into my crystal ball, that's definitely something that I'm seeing as a plausible possibility in this country, in this world. And the reality of it is in the 1800s, when America was opening for business, and there was no cranes, there was no bulldozers, there was just men with shovels digging holes, laying down tracks. You needed physical labor. But the reality of things are now is we don't need that much physical labor in that aspect. Whatever we have now in this country that's legal can actually do all that work. And the thing is that you got people that don't want to do that kind of work. So what does that do? That opens up the door for automations to come in and take over. And the reason I'm talking the way I'm talking is because I'm almost there to retirement. And I just want to run through that door and get on my retirement and live out my golden years, Well, like I'm going to have, I still have a bunch of golden years. But the reality is that I'm giving you guys this dystopian future because that dystopian future is right in front of you. It's right there. I mean, just the emergence of AI. Even AI, you don't know how stable that's going to be, what it can do to you, or what it can do to our society. We're just walking into this, really, to this unknown. But I'll tell you one thing that hasn't changed is you're going to need money to live in the future. That's not going to change. You're going to need resource. That's not going to change. So what you need to do is you need to be an entrepreneur. So you need to be able to produce income out of nothing. Provide a service that you're the only one that can do it. But the reality is that a lot of these people that are coming over from another country, they're going for these low-level jobs. They're the ones that are going for like Instacart. They're the ones that go to the grocery store, get your food, or they Uber Eats. They're doing them kind of jobs. And I'm here to tell you all that stuff's going to disappear. It's just going to go away. Just like the horse and carriage, That went away. Now you have nothing but electrical cars, and the horses and carriages that we have as a society, it's just for Sunday fun. It's just for fun. It's like that's what we used to do. That might even be the point of gasoline. Like, oh, we have a combustible engine that takes gasoline. People used to pump gasoline into the cars to make them go. Now we just plug them in. Now we have centrifugal force pushing these cars. We don't even need to charge them with a battery. Things are moving so fast. I mean, I'll tell you right now where that big immigrant push will be. It'll be like when they start saying, hey, we need people to go to Mars and settle Mars. Well, they're not going to pick just any dumb immigrant or any dumb American. They're going to pick somebody who has skills, somebody that knows how to fix something, somebody that knows how to operate something. Everything in life is about having a skill that you can apply. You got to provide value to the other side so you can have value for you on your side. And the thing is that this is a value proposition where a lot of people are stepping up to the table, demanding to be looked at and heard, but they have nothing to offer. All they got is a loud voice and a rock to throw through your window. And that's not going to fly. That's just not going to fly. So I know I'm going to get a lot of controversy off these clips. And the thing is that everybody has an opinion. And it might not be the best opinion. It might not be the right opinion or the wrong opinion. But at the end of the day, I don't run the government. I don't legislate or I don't dictate. Well, I dictate in effect for who I vote. But when that person's in power and they say, we're not going to put up with this crap anymore. I mean, you had a lot of immigrants that came to New York and misbehaved with the police officers there. They tried to assault and attack police. Then they talk about, taking advantage of the American way, getting free money, just becoming squatters in people's houses. Do you think as an American, I want to hear that somebody's getting I got to go to work. Actually, since January, I've been working 7 days. And the only time that I get a day off is if I just take it, And I needed to refresh my mind. I needed to re-energize myself. And I thank God. I'm very thankful that I have a job that I can go to like that. That project's not going to last forever. But the reality is that if they said, hey, man, we're going to replace you with a bunch of immigrants that don't know how to do your job, but, they're paid real cheap. You know what? They're taking away my value and they're bringing their value in conglomeration. So, no, I think the immigrant crisis is real. I think it's a bad thing. And it's going to get bad. I think it's going to go full circle. You could riot and fight all you want. And at the end of the day, all that's going to be smashed and quelled. A lot of people's feelings are going to get hurt. A lot of attitudes are going to be adjusted. And a lot of people might be going to jail. But you know what? These are like growing pains. The country, to me, is realigning itself. It's reestablishing itself as a power, even on a global stage. And now it's going to do it on within itself, within its parameters. I mean, yeah, I don't want to live in a police state. I don't want to live in a country that, like China, where you have to have social credits to be, mobile, where you can go, oh, you're good, so you can go here or you can't go there. When people are rioting and creating this ruckus, even in a free country, all these things get implemented, whether you know it or not. Just like when the Twin Towers fell, the Patriot Act, a lot of things came into being that were never there, and they quietly took away some of your freedoms. So for your own safety, they did these things. So guess what? People rioting in the street is unsafe for you. So guess what? We're going to implement new rules that are going to keep you safe. I don't need that. I don't need new rules. I got enough rules. I don't need them. I don't want them. In fact, there's some bunch of rules I want to get rid of now. But like I said, it's a mad world. It's a mad world. And we're living in it. We got to navigate that. And I'm just here to tell you, you got to be smarter than what the circumstance calls for. And you got to be on top of it. You got to be aware of what's going on. You got to see things start to form in front of you and say, oh, that's not good. Because there's going to be a point where we might be tasked to have to take action as far as contact legislators or maybe home supplies because you're on lockdown. I mean, I don't want to sound like an alarmist. I don't want to sound crazy, but this is how these things start. Real small, incremental. And sometimes they get out of control. And the thing is that you got to keep your eye on it. So I'm going to sign out. And that's just what I was thinking about today. I hope you can look past my alarmist personality or my alarmist mode and form your own thoughts. Now, like I said, I'm probably going to get a lot of people, a lot of negative comments, but that's okay. Everybody's entitled to their comments.